Welcome back to the Yankee Doodle Dandy. It's been a couple of weeks. I have been enjoying obviously my holiday with Thanksgiving, and there hasn't really been a lot of Yankee news in regards to posting anything. The Yankees have yet to make a signing or a trade this offseason. I think that that's going to change fairly soon. But before we start this episode of the Yankee Doodle Dandy, where I will be talking a lot about Juan Soto, current Yankees rumors, and obviously I've made a offseason plan for the 2025 New York Yankees. I'm going to turn on the light right behind me, so that looks a lot better. So Thanksgiving morning, there I am hanging out with some family friends, getting ready to enjoy my Thanksgiving dinner, and we come across, and we're going to talk about this right away because why not? Juan Soto to Boston. This was the talk of the town. All of a sudden on Thanksgiving Day, all these random accounts of people you've never heard of started tweeting out that Juan Soto was in agreement on a contract with the Boston Red Sox. And it started because of this account from somebody who I've never even heard of. Hold on, let me share my screen here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Sorry, I should have had this set up beforehand. But it all started because of this account right here. Hold on, I'm just going to do this. It is Beyond Average Mick. And this is right here on the right. This is the one we're going to focus on first. He said, breaking news. The Boston Red Sox have signed free agent outfielder Juan Soto. The terms of the deal are still unknown, but I'm hearing it's 12 years with no deferred money. Expect an official announcement to come within the next few days. And so when I saw this, I didn't panic at all. The first thing I thought of was, wow, is this guy a fraud? Wow, is this guy just putting something out that is absolute bullshit? And let me tell you why. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to say that the Red Sox have no chance of signing Juan Soto. They do make sense for certain reasons. I do still think it's the Yankees or Mets at the end of the day, and I'll kind of get into my reasoning for that. But I knew that this was bullshit, and I could smell it a mile away. The first thing this guy says is that the terms of the deal are still unknown. So how the hell do you come across this and know that he's agreed to a contract when you don't even know the details of that said contract? Then he says, hearing it's 12 years. That's funny because I figure a guy like Juan Soto wants a contract at least into his 40 season, his age 40 season, which would be 14 years. Listen, okay, during this time, we've seen this over the last few off seasons. There are people who are trying to make a name for themselves, who are trying to put stuff out there and seeing if they can hit on it, right? Because here's the thing, though, about this guy. This guy is completely bullshitting everyone. First off, it's funny how he says, expect an official announcement to come within the next few days. This was on Thursday. It is now, as I'm recording this, 3:20 a.m. I know it's super late or super early on Tuesday, December 3rd. This was posted on Thursday, November 28th at 8:06 a.m. Nothing. Now, this guy since, and I'll show you, where he doubled down on this. He has since like quadrupled down on this. Every day he keeps posting that, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just wait, just wait. Listen, okay? If Juan Soto signs with the Red Sox, it's not because of you breaking the news. It is going to be a big time reporter, the Jeff Passons of the world. We're talking the, John Heymans of the world, right? Those are going to be the guys who break the biggest free agent signing maybe ever, besides Shohei Ohtani, obviously, which was obvious that he was going to the Dodgers. But it is not going to be some guy named Mick who just wants clout. And that's what we have seen time and time again with the foolery and the clownery of all these fake reporters on social media. And the problem with it is people fucking believe this. They believe this guy. Red Sox fans believe this guy. It is preposterous. It's preposterous. Can we stop believing everything you read on social media? Everything you see on Twitter? I didn't panic at all because I knew that this was bullshit. I knew that this was bullshit. I could tell from the moment I read that text of the terms of the deal are still unknown and expect an announcement to come within the next few days. Then we find out that this guy got the Jim Montgomery firing of, the Bruins Jim Montgomery firing. I think that's right? Jim Montgomery. He got the the Jim Montgomery Bruins firing. He got that correct. But then you find out that he had been posting that every day when it was obvious that he was going to be fired. Okay. He had posted it every single day in hopes that that would come true. So that way he could sit there and point back to it and be like, see, I had it first. I told you all. That's not how it happened. That's not what happened at all. Listen, this Mick guy, I don't know him as a person, but this shit is insufferable in my opinion. To sit there and be someone who is trying to get clout on the internet, knowing how big of a free agent Juan Soto is, knowing the team's involved, knowing that everyone is waiting for this domino to fall, and you're going to sit there and act like a fucking douchebag and try to act like you have sources. I'm sorry. I can't stand that shit. That shit drives me insane. It drives me insane. And I'll even kind of show you, there's a tweet that I put out just to show you the reason why people do this. And it's so obvious, and it's been obvious for a long time. So then he doubles down on it, as we're going to go back to this here. He doubles down on it by saying this. Here's what I know. This is the same day. This is about, let's see, when did he post this? I don't see a time stamp on it. Anyway, same day. Here's what I know. Juan Soto and Boston have agreed to a long-term contract. The exact length and money of the deal is still unknown, but I'm told there is no deferred cash. Boston's rich history of Dominican superstars was the ultimate selling point. Here's what you know. You're a lying sack of shit. You are trying to fool everybody, and you're trying to get clout. That is what I know. You know nothing. You don't know anything about this situation when it comes to Juan Soto. You know dick, just like everyone else right now who knows nothing about the situation. Now, we could take hints. We can kind of guess, okay, what is happening here? Where is it going? I have my own theory. And to be honest, it comes down to Yankees and Mets. And I think that ultimately, I really feel like maybe Juan Soto told, and I've thought about this the more since my last podcast episode, because last time I talked about how I wasn't confident in Juan Soto re-signing, but then something changed, and it was when we found out the Yankees meeting, okay? We found out that the Mets meeting went really well. The Red Sox, Blue Jays meetings went really well. He was so intrigued by them. Oh, he seemed so interested in what they had to say, and oh, damn, everything was so good. He is so excited about the prospect of joining one of these teams. Then the Yankees meeting happens, and you hear nothing for literally hours. You don't hear anything until like the next day, and it doesn't seem super positive. Everything that has been spun in this Juan Soto saga has felt like the Yankees are in like trouble here. That there's every single report is negative, and we're gonna get into Randy Miller, which I will talk about next, because holy shit, what a fucking this guy is. He knows nothing, and he's known nothing for a long time, for many years. There's a lot of examples that I don't have the tweets, but I have the story, and I know exactly what things that I've read over the last several 48 hours, whatever it has been, about Randy Miller. But anyway, it's beside the point. I have a weird suspicion that the way that everything has been spun against the Yankees in such a way, the way that now they're propping up the Mets and Red Sox to be the favorites, which the Mets are the crosstown rivals and the Red Sox are the rivals and hated rivals of the New York Yankees, as the favorites to sign Juan Soto. If that doesn't smell like leverage, I don't know what does. And I have this very odd suspicion in my mind, and I've seen other Mets fans feel this way, and some Red Sox fans, the non-delusional ones. I have seen them kind of have a similar tone now to what I've felt for a few weeks now. I think Juan Soto told Scott Boras he wants to come back to the Yankees. I granted, I could be well off base here. I understand that. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, and I could read the situation wrong, and maybe he signs with the Mets or he signs with the Red Sox, and yeah, at the end of the day, I look like an idiot. But I'll tell you this: if I am wrong about this, I will admit it. I'll come on here and I'll admit it, and I'll say, "Hey, look, I was wrong." I have a weird suspicion, though, that Juan Soto told Scott Boras he wants to be a New York Yankee. He wants to come back, but he wants the most money possible. And so Boras is spitting this narrative to the media that the Yankees are in trouble, that the Yankees, are capping out at a certain number, that the Yankees, he has questions about their player development, and he's really like, it seems like, he doesn't want to come back to the Yankees, and he blah 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 this and that. And I have this very weird suspicion, and I don't know why I feel that way. Again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will admit it here to you on camera. I'll say I was wrong. I was wrong. I read the situation wrong. But to me, it feels like Boras and Soto are playing this game to get Hal Steinbrenner to give him the most money possible, and he wants to stay a Yankee. And again, we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, we should know probably this time next week. Juan Soto probably has picked a team. I'm hoping it's the Yankees. Obviously, I feel positive. I feel confident that the Yankees are going to get it done, that Hal Steinbrenner is going to get it done. And we'll get into that in a little bit. But it just feels like the wheels are kind of turning for something good to happen for Juan Soto to return to the Yankees. But we'll see. And then we're going to go with, let's see, where's the next thing? Okay. Hector Gomez, and he was, or Mike Rodriguez and Hector Gomez. These two, I'm not going to dunk on them because they are right at times, but they're also wrong at times. And so it's really hard to kind of figure out where they're at right now and if they're correct on this. Hector Gomez quote tweeted Mike Rodriguez, Mike Rodriguez says, I just finished a call and sources from Boston informed me that the player spoke for over an hour with Rafael Devers about the team. There is a 12-year offer for around $50 million per season, and Soto is interested in the idea of going to the Red Sox. Currently, the Red Sox are a strong contender for the outfielder. It's hard to read whether or not Mike Rodriguez is correct on this. It's really hard because, like, I have to take his word with a grain of salt just because he's been wrong often in the past. And then Hector Gomez said, I'm hearing a 13-year, $625 million offer. If you look at that, if I do the calculations on that real quick, 13 years, $625 million. You're looking at an AAV of 48 million. That makes sense. That I could see an offer like that. I also see the Yankees having an offer like that. Maybe even giving a 14th year. I think it's going to whoever. I feel like that 14th year is going to be so important in all of this. But I actually would probably. I actually will say this. I actually kind of agree with Hector Gomez here. I think 13 year, $625 million offer is probably on the table from not just the Red Sox, but the Yankees, the Mets. I feel like they're playing around the same ballpark in the same waters right now, and they're trying to see who's going to play chicken first. But yeah, so we heard all this different stuff about, Juan Soto to the Red Sox, and, he's going to go there. And then all these other Dominican, reporters that they don't have any sources. Let's be honest here. They're asking people's opinions, Dominican scouts and all these people, where is Juan Soto going to go? And they're obviously going to go with where the momentum is, which is the Boston Red Sox, who are selling Soto on this idea of being the next Dominican superstar along the likes of David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, players he idolized growing up. And that's great. That's a cool selling point, I guess. But the thing I would also say is that the Bronx has Washington Heights. New York has so much Dominican influence that it doesn't even like Boston can't even compare with it. So it's an interesting selling point. We'll see if it works at the end. Again, I feel like I still think this is a two-team race. The reason why I feel the way I do about the Juan Soto situation and how I think he told Scott Boras he wants to come back. But the reason why I'm also saying that it's still like the Mets are still in play is because if Steve Cohen, who's a wild card, if he just decides to throw down an absurd number at Juan Soto's feet, I mean, I could see how walking away at that point and being like, yeah, like for example, if Steve Cohen goes, I'll give you $750 million for 15 years, I can see how going, yeah, we're not going there. And if it's absurd like that, I wouldn't blame Juan Soto for taking that money and saying, "Hey, look, I wanted New York. I wanted to be a Yankee, but the Mets came in. They really, really upped the ante. Like, I can't turn that money away." And I'll understand. Will I be sad? Of course I'll be sad. But at the same time, like, I'll understand the situation for both Soto and for Hal because you have to be responsible in these waters in some type of sense. Yes, it's going to be a mega offer. Jack Curry literally said that today, which we'll get to Jack Curry's thoughts. But I just think that the way that I see this playing out is I feel like Steve Cohen, I feel like it's a lot like the Yamamoto sweepstakes. Steve Cohen really wanted Yamamoto. He wanted to sell Yamamoto on being a New York Met. He was going to give Yamamoto the biggest contract offer. He did. It was 325 million. The Yankees came in at 300 million. And Yamamoto did not want to be a Met, didn't want to be a Yankee. He wanted to be a Dodger. And he told the Dodgers, go match this and I'll sign. And they did it. Now, the Yankees, I understand their situation on that. I know a lot of people throw shade at them. Oh, well, they didn't do 325. They didn't outbid Cohen. Well, here's the thing. The Yankees in their minds, and I understand, the guy had never thrown a major league pitch. Why does he deserve more money than Garrett Cole? I can understand that. They also gave him the highest AAV. The Yankees kind of work in those waters all the time. Sometimes they throw higher AAV at players because why not? Even though it's not a bigger overall deal, it still kind of makes them feel like they're making more money than what they would. But at the end of the day, look, Yamamoto's a Dodger. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Yamamoto because who cares? Dodgers are building a super team. They just signed Blake Snell. Um, like, holy hell, they have like 10 different starting pitchers and like 4 aces on their team. They're going to be nasty. But you know what? My offseason plan for the Yankees, okay, can maybe combat them a little bit. I'm not saying completely, but it can combat them a little bit. Juan Soto is the key to everything. So I think that this is going to shake out. I think he's going to be a Yankee or a Met. I felt that way from the very beginning of the sweepstakes. I still feel that way. I feel confident that he's going to re-sign with the Yankees, but I'm not 100% certain. I don't know anything. I can't sit here and pretend like I know Juan Soto and what he wants. But on that note, I want to show you guys this tweet that I had put out for fun because I just wanted to really see something here. And without I wasn't like bullshitting anybody. I wasn't trying to like, pretend like I had like actual real sources. But I did want to put this out there because uh it's just kind of fun to think about. Um let's see. Boom, boom, boom. If I can find it. I put it out, I think it was yesterday. So I'm gonna try to find it through all my Colts tweets. Um Holy shit. Where is this? Hold on. Let me see if I can. All right, let me see something here. Let's see. Um, where is my tweet? Anyway, I put out a tweet where it was like, oh, hearing that Juan Soto is signing with and like an eyes emoji, or my sources are telling me Juan Soto is signing with and then eyes emoji. And it did pretty well. It had a lot of impressions. It had like 500 impressions within like an hour. So I don't know where the tweet is right now. I literally cannot find it. But look, this is the problem here is that people believe a lot of what you put on social media, and it really does kind of suck because yeah, I'm trying to find it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. Not gonna be able to find it. But yeah, it just shows that, people are hungry. They're craving Juan Soto news, and a lot of people, are trying so desperately um, to believe that their team is going to sign him, and he's a big free agent, big time free agent. So it's hard because people are going to believe stuff, and they shouldn't, because unless it's a reliable source like Jeff Passan, Ken Rosenthal, John Heyman. I put John Heyman loosely in here because John Heyman is not always right, and he's also Scott Boris's puppet. But for a Boris client like a Juan Soto, very likely he could break the news. Um, so yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you have to understand who the reliable sources are and who's not. And this Mick guy is not a reliable source. Okay, Juan Soto has not agreed to any contract yet, and I think we're in the end game now. I think there might be one more round of offers, and then after that, I think Juan Soto is going to get to choose where he wants to go. And we'll see. I think this is all going to play out over the next 7 days before the winter meetings. At least I hope so, because then we can move on with the offseason, because it's been so incredibly slow and so boring. But we're going to talk about one of my least favorite people on the Twitter space, and one of my least favorite reporters ever, and that's Randy Miller. Good old Randy Miller, baby. Randy Miller. This guy has been a clown show for a long time now. It dates back to all the times that he said horrible misinformation about Clint Frazier. He talked a lot of shit about Clint Frazier. There's been rumors that he had a burner account where he talked shit about Clint Frazier. Clint Frazier, even himself, came out and said that this guy is full of shit, doesn't know anything, and because of that, the Yankees, he thinks, have a much better chance than what Randy Miller's given them. So anyway, let's look at this beautiful tweet here, this segment here from Randy Miller's latest. One person with knowledge of the discussions believes the Red Sox, Mets, and Blue Jays all have made offers upwards of $600 million, while the Yankees are in the $550 million range. A former Soto teammate recently told NJ Advance Media that he's seeking a contract higher than the record $700 million deal that pitcher designated hitter Shohei Ohtani obtained from the Dodgers last winter. Good luck with that. I don't think that's happening because you can't pitch. And I love Juan Soto, but he cannot pitch. So yeah, Randy Miller is saying the Yankees are in this $550 million range, and they are capping out there. He said that. Randy Miller is a fucking moron. I don't know how else to describe this, and it makes my blood boil that people believe this guy. This is the same guy. Let me give you examples. Okay, this is why you should not believe Randy Miller. Even though he's a Yankee beat reporter, the dude is the most pessimistic anti-Yankee reporter, anti-Yankee beat reporter I've ever seen in my life. And let me give you a couple of reasons. Back in 2022, after Aaron Judge's magical season, Judge was going to be a free agent. Now, Randy Miller not only said that Aaron Judge was going to be a San Francisco Giant, there was no way Hal Steinbrenner was going to pay Aaron Judge more than $300 million, I believe. I think it was something to that effect of like, yeah, he's not going to pay him. Randy Miller also said that Aaron Judge was looking at real estate in San Francisco, and that it was a slam dunk he was signing with the Giants. Now, people can sit there and say, oh, well, he was going to sign with the Giants until Hal Steinbrenner called last minute. But it's bullshit. And here's the reason why it's bullshit. Because even though Aaron Judge was close to signing with the Giants, to sit there and say he was looking at real estate in San Francisco, you're hedging your bets. You're hedging your bets. And that's all Randy Miller does. He does this time and time again. My favorite example, one of my favorite examples, and there's a couple of different things. Actually, let me pull up because I'm trying to think of another instance where Randy Miller has just made himself look like a moron countless times. So let's see here. Here we go. This is what I love right here. The Red Sox have emerged as a favorite, maybe the favorite, to land Yankees free agent Juan Soto. Two people with knowledge of the contract negotiations told NJ Advance Media. The Yanks are still hopeful of re-signing Soto, but they're now more worried about their AL East rival Red Sox and the crosstown rival Mets, who have the richest owner in Steve Cohen. If that doesn't sound like bullshit leverage to Mr. Randy Miller, I don't know what does. Then we talked about this already. The $600 million Yankees capping off, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. One person said that David Ortiz, a Hall of Fame slugger and Red Sox legend, has been trying to convince Soto to sign with Boston by talking up the city, the organization, manager Alex Cora, and the farm system, which includes 3 of the top 10 prospects in the majors and MLB Pipeline's rankings. And to that, I'll say this. Who gives a shit? Prospects are suspects until proven otherwise. How many times have we seen great top prospects in the Yankees organization? Anthony Volpe, Austin Wells, guys like Anthony Volpe was a top, like I'm pretty sure 5 prospect in the league. I know he was a top 10 for sure in all of Major League Baseball. He's not an all-star. He's a good player. He's won a Gold Glove, but he's not an all-star. So, and to that I say, who cares? Who cares? You have potentially some good prospects. I think the Red Sox have 6 prospects in the top 100 who have proven nothing at the big league level. Nothing. And Red Sox fans talk about as if they're going to be all elite all-stars. It doesn't work that way. You'll be lucky if one of those players becomes an all-star, an elite player. You'll be lucky. Lucky. We've seen that time and time again. Whatever. And then I don't really care about the other stuff about Nolan Arenado and the Red Sox because we're a Yankee podcast. But yeah, this is what I said. Randy Miller truly has no fucking shame. Last offseason, he wrote how the Yankees had zero interest in Marcus Stroman. This is my favorite story. I want to talk about this story real quick. Okay? We're going to talk about this story real quick because this is one of my favorite stories. Last offseason, Randy Miller put out an article. You can go find it online. You can go find it on Twitter. He referenced that the Yankees had missed out on Yamamoto, and therefore they were going to be looking at the next tier of pitchers in the next tier of starting pitchers, which included Marcus Stroman, but that the Yankees had zero interest in Marcus Stroman. 2 weeks later, Marcus Stroman signed with the Yankees. The guy's dumb. He's dumb. He just writes random bullshit. And I have a theory about Randy Miller. Granted, my theories. I have a theory about Randy Miller that the Yankees have some type of executive who relays him information that is so stupid, or they give him false information for leverage sake. For example, saying we have no interest in Marcus Stroman to make sure Marcus Stroman takes the deal the Yankees want. Juan Soto. Yeah, we're capping off at $550 million. We feel very confident. Hey, Randy. Here's the thing. The Yankees might be telling you this. Somebody might be telling you this in the front office because they want the Mets and Red Sox to maybe feel comfortable with their offers. Because what team in their right mind wants to continue bidding higher and higher and higher when you can get the player for a price that you feel a little bit more comfortable with? The Yankees are over $600+ million. This has all been debunked about what Randy Miller said. And this is what's so funny about it is I have this really weird feeling that he has someone that is in the Yankee front office who relays him bad information, because there's countless times where this guy's been just dead wrong completely on so many levels. So obviously the Stroman thing, Marcus Stroman, the Yankees had zero interest in him. He signs with the Yankees 2 weeks later. And then you find out when Marcus Stroman had a Zoom meeting that him and Brian Cashman had talked all off season long. So it's not like this, and this counteracts anything that anybody's going to throw at me that, Mets fan or Red Sox, oh, well, maybe the Yankees change their mind in 2 weeks. Not a chance. They had talked all off season long. Stroman said that. Cashman said that. They got the deal done. They might have relayed this information out to Randy Miller because, again, they wanted Marcus Stroman to sign on their terms, not on his, on their terms. So that's the funny thing to me, okay? So people believe this. And I said, Miller is in the dark on most everything Yankees. And so he hears the voices in his head and he writes down bullshit. So yeah, it's really just laughable. There's so many different instances here where it's just, Red Sox fans being just completely delusional, saying that, oh, Soto's going to sign with the Red Sox. It's a slam dunk. I've heard from this person. I've heard from this Dominican person. I've heard from, Juan Soto's brother, sister's friend's cousin, nephew, uncle who said that Juan Soto's going to sign with the Red Sox. It's just ridiculous. It really is. There's just, it's just preposterous. Look, everybody can believe what they want to believe. You can believe whatever you want. If you want to believe, Marino Pepin and what he said about how, Juan Soto's going to be a Red Sox because all these Dominican people have said it. Whether you want to believe Randy Miller, good luck with that. This is the same guy also who said that Alex Verdugo was allergic to his batting gloves. Take that in for a second. This guy said that the reason why Verdugo was performing so badly was because he was allergic to his fucking batting gloves. Dumb. Believe him. Believe him if you want. I don't know what to tell you. The fact that people believe Randy Miller is absurd to me. It's absurd to me. And people were like, oh, well, he said that, he was the first one to report all the offers that came in for Juan Soto's. Okay, he threw something at the wall and it stuck. Big fucking deal. I could have told you what teams were going to offer Juan Soto a contract based on the meetings. He had 5 meetings with 5 teams. It's not that hard to tell which teams have offered Juan Soto a contract. Oh my gosh. It's wild to me, man. It's wild. It's so wild. It's crazy. I'm very excited for this Juan Soto saga to be over with, to be honest. We're going to find out soon, and then the Yankees can move on to other things in the offseason. But really quickly, we're gonna talk about Hal is all in on Soto. I didn't get to cover this. During the owners' meeting, Hal Steinbrenner came out and spoke to the media. He said things you want to hear as a Yankee fan. He said that, they feel really good about the relationship that they've built with Juan Soto over, these discussions. He talked about how the one mistake he felt like he made was not being able to he didn't make an effort to reach out to Soto during the regular season because he wanted Soto to, stay in his own process and do his own thing, be locked in for the season. He said he wants the same relationship. He told Soto that he wants the same relationship with him as he has with Judge and Cole. And then the most telling things, he said, look, I can go out and sign whoever I want. I can get whatever player I want. And he's right. The Yankees make more money than any other team in baseball, and it's not even remotely close. They also just pocketed $15 million from the Rays so that way they can use George M. Steinbrenner Field this season for their regular season games because the Trop is completely damaged. So look, Hal Steinbrenner said what you wanted him to say. He didn't play his cards. He didn't show his cards. Obviously, he made it made a very big point that I want this guy. I want Juan Soto back. We need him back. And I agree. And there are people out there that are like, oh, he doesn't sound very confident. And then Steve Cohen literally like a week later says pretty much the exact same thing. Everything that I expected to hear from Steve Cohen. And I thought it was very good answers. And there are Mets fans who are like, oh yeah, we got him. What Steve Cohen is a legend. He said, it's like he said the same thing that Hal Steinbrenner said. He said the same thing that Hal Steinbrenner said. He said, we'll see. It's either a yes or a no. It's wild, man. Wild. It's crazy. But Hal Steinbrenner is all in on Soto. He's all in. Jack Curry today, or I guess yesterday, on Yankees Hot Stove, talked about Juan Soto in length, debunking everything that Randy Miller said completely within the first 2 seconds of the program. Here's the thing too that I think is very interesting. How people don't have there's people that don't believe Jack Curry. They don't believe Jack Curry, and I just don't understand that. Oh, he said that the Yankees feel confident. They feel good about their stance with Juan Soto. They feel like they can, retain the player. People are like, well, he said the same thing about Yamamoto. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. There is a difference between Yoshinobu Yamamoto's free agency and Juan Soto's free agency. You want to know what that difference is? Yamamoto had never pitched in the major leagues. No one knew what he wanted. No one knew what he felt comfortable by. Nobody knew him. The Yankees didn't know him. Mets didn't know him. Dodgers didn't know him. Phillies didn't know him. Whatever teams were in on Yamamoto, they didn't know him. They could only assume stuff based on small reports of, what people have said about him, but they didn't know him. Juan Soto, the Yankees front office had him he was there for an entire year. He was a Yankee all of 2024. Guys in the clubhouse know him. His teammates know him. I'm pretty sure the Yankees front office knows him. It's a little different of a situation. So if the Yankees say, hey, we feel comfortable, we feel confident with where we are with Soto, I believe them. And I believe Jack Curry. Jack Curry's not going to go out there and say, oh, yeah, he's returned to the Yankees, because Jack Curry doesn't know. But what the front office can feel, it's a little different this year than it was with Yamamoto. Again, the Yankees had Juan Soto in-house for an entire season. That's an advantage. As much as people want to say it's not, it is an advantage, because you got to know him as a player. You got to know how comfortable he is, how he feels about his surroundings, how loose he is. Maybe things are bottled up and the Yankees don't know if they're going to get Juan Soto, right? But they know that the conversations they've had with Soto have been positive because they know him. They've gotten to know him over the course of a year. So it's a little different of a situation. I also think here at the end of the day, Jack Curry can only say so much. He can't go out there and make promises, right? The front office can't make promises. They can say, hey, we're trying our best. At the end of the day, Juan Soto gets to make the decision. Okay, the Yankees can only put their best foot forward, and by all indications, Jack Curry literally today said they're putting their best foot forward. They know it's a mega deal, which basically, again, completely debunks what Randy Miller said. If you needed any further proof, but the Yankees are all in. They're all in on getting Juan Soto, and it's very apparent with what Hal Steinbrenner has said, with what we know about the situation in terms of how the Yankees are viewing Juan Soto, the same way that they view an Aaron Judge or a Garrett Cole, like this is their white whale. The way that, Jack Curry is speaking about Juan Soto. How can I not feel confident in the Yankees' chances of retaining him? I feel very confident in their chances of retaining him. I'm not saying they're going to, but I feel confident. Personally, I feel confident. I feel like the Yankees have a damn good chance of bringing this guy back. And, we'll have to wait and see. But Jack Curry talked a lot about Juan Soto, talked a lot about the Yankees wanting to bring Soto back. There was other points that we're going to touch on here in a second. But look, at the end of the day, Juan Soto gets to make the decision. And I think that Jack Curry also said that he believes it's down to the Yankees and Mets. He believes it's down to the Yankees and Mets when all this is said and done. Basically kind of blown out the smoke of the Red Sox and Soto. And I felt that way again from the very beginning. And I think when this is all said and done, Juan Soto is going to be in New York one way or another. So, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But I think what Jack Curry said was very encouraging. And Jack Curry is not wrong. Like, he's one of the most reliable reporters in all of baseball. He doesn't just say shit to say shit. Like, he actually is. And he's also, here's another thing. He doesn't just prop up the Yankees and say what the Yankees front office wants him to say. When Manny Machado and Bryce Harper were free agents, Jack Curry was not telling the Yankee fan base that the Yankees were going after, Machado and Bryce Harper. He threw water on that fire. He said, I don't see it happening. He's very honest. When the Yankees were going after Freddie Freeman, he basically said, look, the Yankees are going after Freddie Freeman. They feel like they're on the outside looking in, and it's more realistic that the Yankees re-sign Anthony Rizzo. He said that. So anybody who tries to sit there and say, oh, well, he's a yes propaganda machine, think again. He's been so on the money with the Yankees thinking and the front office and lockstep with them that he's not just going to say shit to say shit. He's not that kind of guy. And that's what I really respect about Jack Curry. I mean, when Jack Curry speaks, Yankee fans listen, and you have to, because the guy is always consistent with his reporting and the way that he goes about with the words that he says. He's very careful too in the way he words things to not make it seem like it's a slam dunk. This is going to happen or this isn't going to happen, but he does give you a lot of sense of what the Yankees front office is thinking. And a lot of the times, there are things that I don't like that they're doing, but he tells you as it is. Like, look, this is what they're doing. Is it the right thing? That's for you to decide. And then, same thing with Corey Seager. When Corey Seager was a free agent, Jack Curry was right there talking about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and how it made more sense in the Yankees' minds to have a guy like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa because they had young shortstops coming up in the farm system. Your Anthony Volpes, your Oswald Perazzas. So you're even Oswaldo Cabrera in a sense. Like, so Jack Curry is not just going to say, whatever makes the Yankees look the best, right? That's not him. The dude has been nothing but consistent. He's honest. And, he tells the Yankee fans what, is happening, what's going on. And he fills us in. So that's why, like, you have to listen to Jack Curry. Jack Curry's been consistently right. Anytime that Jack Curry says the Yankees are interested in this guy, they're not interested in this guy, that's the truth. 100% it's the truth. He's not just going to sit there and blow smoke up your ass. Like, this is what Jack Curry's done for a long time. And I have so much respect for him. So the Soto stuff with Jack Curry, what he said is all positive, and I look at it as a very good sign for the Yankees. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at the end of the day. We'll just kind of end this point on this quote right here that I wanted to just say real quick. Jack Curry opened Yankees hot stove with this. Yankees have had several. Oh, my bad. Yankees have had several productive conversations with Soto. Soto will beat present-day value of Ohtani's deal. Yankees are willing to swim in those waters and have made it very clear to him that they want him back. So that's directly from Jack Curry on Yankees hot stove. It's everything you want to hear. That's great. Yankees are taking it seriously, and they're not capping off at $550 million, Randy Miller. My God. Have some shame, dude. Anyway, let's move on to our next point. This is going to be kind of brief as my voice cracks. Current Yankee rumors. We got some stuff kind of working, maybe some smoke happening. It's been a very, very quiet on the Yankee front. Obviously, Juan Soto is the star of the show right now, but the Yankees have other things going on. This is what Jack Curry said. Speaking of, going back to Jack Curry, tweeted out by John LaGrace. Thank you, John LaGrace. I was able to find this. Jack Curry saying several productive conversations between the Yankees and Soto, have offers of over $600 million and want him back. They've had talks about Burns and Fried. They love Bellinger for first base. I love that. Sign me the hell up. Not interested in Nolan Arenado. Love that. Sign me the hell up. Also interested in Willie Adames. So those are the things basically that Jack Curry said. And then they talked a little, some stuff about, Aaron Judge and Luis Heel winning awards and all this stuff. But it really was focused on, a lot of Juan Soto, and basically talking about the direction that this team takes, either in a scenario with Juan Soto or a scenario without Juan Soto. And I love the idea of Burns and Fried, though. I'm actually very into that. And we're going to kind of get into that when I make my offseason plan that I show you guys. But yeah, Jack Curry said that. And then as I try to find this next tweet here, the other thing that we knew about is November 22nd, so roughly a week and a half ago, John Morosi said that there is mutual interest between Walker Buehler and the Yankees. The interesting thing about this is that John Morosi is a guy who is hard for me to trust after the Shohei Ohtani's on a plane to Toronto debacle. So all those poor Blue Jays fans, I'm sorry. But this makes a lot of sense, actually. Walker Buehler is a guy who I actually would really like on the Yankees. I think that he's always had a good track record when he's healthy of being a very good pitcher. He's obviously a great postseason pitcher. The spotlight doesn't, shine too bright on him. He's not afraid of, the spotlight. I think he's a really, really good fit for the Yankees. And it makes a lot of sense. So we heard that. And so I kind of felt that way. Like the Yankees are probably going to address the rotation. And then we had this. I just figured I'd put this, but Walker Buehler's recent post on Instagram was him at Yankee Stadium, where it says "Who but WB." What does that mean? Probably nothing. His initials are WB, but we also kind of got confirmation based on this post that him and the Yankees had a Zoom meeting. We actually found that out. I think John Heyman had said something about it on his podcast. So Walker Buehler to the Yankees, we'll see. I like the fit personally. I think Walker Buehler is a great pitcher, and I think he'd be good on the Yankees. So those are kind of the recent rumors. Not a lot really to discuss because we're all waiting for Juan Soto to fall. So the last point we're going to get into, the reason why you're here, other than the Juan Soto stuff, is my offseason plan for the 2025 New York Yankees. I actually took the time. I wrote this up. I'm very proud of it, and I want to share it with you guys. I wrote a offseason plan. And before I tell you this plan, there's two different mindsets I had with this. Number one was I wanted to look at the current payroll, which right now, here's what we're going to do. The current payroll is $235 million. And I also wanted to, here, let me zoom in on this so that way you guys can actually see it here. Zoom. Okay. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. So current payroll, 235 million. That's based on Spot Track current estimations. So, obviously there's going to be guys in arbitration, pre-arb guys, all that stuff. And the Cohen tax threshold for 2025 is set at $301 million. Now, I had two mindsets of this. One mindset was the Yankees are going to, knowing what the Yankees have done in the past, they don't want to go over that third luxury tax threshold. So they're going to re-sign Soto, and then they're going to do a lot of small things. That was one mindset. The other mindset I had was you just got punched right in the face on the biggest stage in the World Series against a team that just signed Blake Snell. That is a super mega team. And so part of this was also fuck the luxury tax. We're going through this. We're blowing through this bitch. We're blowing through it. We're blowing through it. And so that's kind of my mindset here. Was I had two different mindsets of conservative, and the other mindset was all in, putting our chips all in at the table. And also this is kind of based off of rumors and things this is a realistic plan. Even if you go past luxury tax, this is a realistic plan for the 2025 New York Yankees. I'm going to give it to you straight. Looking at the $235 million based on Spot Track and the threshold at 301, the Yankees have roughly $66 million to work with for the 2025 season if they stay under the luxury tax. Okay, so $66 million should have been bolded. I'm going to bold it now to work with for 2025. That's if they want to stay under the luxury tax. So there's kind of two mindsets of this. Okay, so it's still one plan, but there's kind of parting ways of the plan. So here we go. Free agent signings. That's what we're going to focus on first. The Yankees re-sign Juan Soto, and I just kind of looked at AAV wise, 47 million a year. It might be a little bit more than that, but 14 years, 658 million. I don't like getting in terms of money and AAV, but I had to do this to kind of have a realistic approach to how I wanted to do or make this plan. So because of that, I had to do money and like kind of estimate in my own head what I think a deal would look like of this magnitude. So that's kind of where my thought process is. These numbers probably not going to be right. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be right probably on any of these numbers, but this is just kind of the way that I was thinking. The next move, and I don't know why this hasn't happened yet. I still don't understand. Yankees re-signed Tim Hill, 2 years, $4 million, AAV of $2 million. I like Tim Hill a lot. Tim Hill was great for the Yankees. We need 2 left-handed relievers. That's the way I'm looking at it. We're going to sign one through free agency, and we're going to sign another, or we're going to trade for another one, which I'll show you in a minute. But Tim Hill is awesome. I like Tim Hill. He wants to come back. I think the Yankees want him back. I think it's only a matter of time. It makes a lot of sense. He's also not going to cost much. And I think based on left-handed relievers on the market, Tim Hill is one of the most underrated left-handed relievers on the market, and I think he's very good. And I thought he was very good with the Yankees. I really like Tim Hill. Give me that gas station manager again. Next move, feels like there's been smoke about this guy for a while with the Yankees in connection with the past couple of trade deadlines. The Yankees sign right-handed pitcher Kyle Finnegan for the bullpen. 2 years, $11 million, $5.5 million AAV. Finnegan was a closer for the Nationals. I kind of like him maybe being either a closer or a setup man to Luke Weaver, vice versa. Pick one of those guys to be the closer, pick one of them to be the setup man, kind of let him go. Kyle Finnegan's great. I really, really like Kyle Finnegan a lot. For anybody who is worried about a guy like Kyle Finnegan, okay, you shouldn't be. And I'm going to go here and we're going to type in this Finnegan baseball savant. Okay. I should have had this pulled up earlier. I did not. My bad. Apologies. I was looking at Jose Trevino. Looking at Jose Trevino's contract, where he's at in terms of money. But Kyle Finnegan, if this will load, which is taking 5 years off my life, everything's kind of slow right now. Kyle Finnegan, look, his ERA is around 3.5 every year, 3.68, 65 games, 38 saves, 60 strikeouts, and 63 and 2/3 innings pitched. His strikeout numbers have gone down, but you look at this right here, and I think Kyle Finnegan has, I think Matt Blake can tap into something here. He throws hard. He averages about 97 with his fastball. Sometimes he can dip into 98, 99 territory. He has a splitter that averages out to be 88.5 miles an hour. He uses it 27% of the time. And he has a slider he uses 6% of the time, 85.4 miles per hour. I like Kyle Finnegan a lot. Velo's there. You look at it, doesn't get a lot of chase, doesn't strike out a lot of guys, doesn't get a lot of swing and miss. Issues with some walks, but the barrel percentage is where I like it. He doesn't get barreled up often. He induces quite a bit of ground balls. We know the Yankees love that. And I just think that he makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense for the Yankees. You kind of look at his pitch mix here, kind of what his pitches are doing in his arsenal. Kyle Finnegan makes a lot of sense to me. And I think that he's a guy, he has closing experience, 38 saves in 2024, 28 saves in 2023. This is a guy who the Yankees should look realistically at for the closing role in 2025. I love Luke Weaver, and I love what he did in the postseason, but I think Luke Weaver, as over the course of an entire season as a closer, I don't know if I love that. But yeah, next, Yankees sign Corbin Burns to a 7-year, $224 million deal, $32 million AAV. I know Blake Snell just got $36.4 million AAV for 5 years, but I'm looking at it through this lens. Burns' strikeout numbers have been down recently. He's been regressing a little bit. And also, I think you're giving him 7 years. So you're giving him more years, little less AAV. This is if they decide to blow past the tax. Okay, so this is only if Hal Steinbrenner says we're going past the tax. We gotta compete with the Dodgers. And the reason why I think Corbin Burnes makes a lot of sense is the Yankees have been interested in Corbin Burnes for a long time. They wanted to trade for him last offseason. Didn't happen. The Orioles came in. They're a team that there's always been smoke on this fire for Corbin Burnes. I think Corbin Burnes is a dog. I would love him in this Yankee rotation. Him and Garrett Cole, him piggybacking off of Garrett Cole. It'd just be awesome. It'd be awesome. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. But again, the Yankees have shown interest in him and Max Fried. They've had internal discussions about it. And I think that if Hal signs off on it for them to sign a big time starting pitcher out of the two of him and Fried, I think they're going to probably go after Corbin Burnes. I think Burnes makes more sense for them. I do. I think Max Fried is very good, but I think Max Fried is a little too Carlos Rodon-like in a sense. So Corbin Burnes, let's get it. Let's do it. Okay. This is my offseason plan. Okay. So bizarre. I don't know what I did. If the Yankees decide not to blow past the tax, then the Yankees sign Walker Buehler, 2 years, $40 million. Maybe it's a 1 year with a player option. Whatever. 2 years, $40 million, 20 million AAV. That's kind of where I'm looking at. And the reason why I say 20 million AAV, and you might be like, Nick, that's crazy. The guy had an ERA over 5 last season. He hasn't been healthy. Frankie Montas is a worse pitcher who just got $17 million from the Mets. If you don't think Walker Buehler is at least getting around 20 million, I don't know what to tell you. But Walker Buehler is a guy that, again, we just talked about it. Yankees and Buehler have mutual interest. Makes a lot of sense. So, yeah, that's only if Corbin Burnes, if the Yankees decide that they don't want to blow past the luxury tax, Walker Buehler makes sense. So after this, Yankees payroll is now roughly $20 million over the tax with Burnes, $8.5 million over with Buehler. We're going to make some trades to kind of, make that a lot less. The trades, this is where things kind of get fun. And this is where I also get nervous because Brian Cashman has the creativity of a snail. The dude has no creative gene. His creative moves have been Josh Donaldson and IKF, and that was a disaster. So this is a slam dunk trade to me. Whether we get Juan Soto back or not, I think the Yankees are doing this. Yankees acquire Cody Bellinger from the Cubs for Marcus Stroman and one of these said prospects, Everson Pereira, Will Warren, Clayton Beeter, Oswald Peraza, etc. I think, Clayton Beeter, I think, is a little bit better maybe than these other three guys. Pereira hasn't shown it at the big league level. Will Warren has not been good at the big league level. Oswald Peraza, the Yankees have lost faith in him pretty much entirely. He has no real chance to be on the Yankee roster, and I think the Yankees should just trade him at this point. And this is the kind of deal where you could trade him for something. And then I have the Yankees taking on $5 million because Bellinger is set to make $27.5 million this year. Stroman's at $18.5 million. So you're thinking like, Nick, that's $9 million. Well, here's the thing. The Cubs, they're going to eat some money to get a better quality of prospect. So if they want a better prospect, maybe somebody who's not one of these guys, you're going to have to eat some money to do that because the Yankees are committing almost $30 million to Cody Bellinger. So that's the way I look at it. So I have the Cubs eating some money here. I think the Cubs did it for Anthony Rizzo. I don't see why they would not do it to trade Cody Bellinger. So Bellinger to the Yankees makes a lot of sense. I think if any of these trades happen, again, do I expect all these things to happen? No. Do I expect these things to happen? No. But I do expect the Bellinger thing to happen. I think Cody Bellinger to the Yankees makes a lot of sense. It's made sense for a long time. The next one is where we get our other left-handed reliever. Yankees acquire Andrew Nardi from the Marlins. I really like Andrew Nardi, and I'm going to show you guys his baseball savant. His ERA is not pretty, okay? I'm not going to pretend like his ERA is something pretty, but look at that baseball savant right there. Look at all that red, dude. Last year, 3-2 record, 59 games, a 5.07 ERA. Not good. Okay? Here, let me yeah, we're good. Not great. He had 49 2/3 innings pitched, 70 strikeouts. He has insane swing and miss stuff. If you look at his xERA, really nice. Expecting batting average, really nice. Fastball velo is at 94. That's about kind of middle of the road. He's a lefty. Lefties usually, other than like AJ Puck and Jose Alvarado and stuff, they usually don't throw as hard from the left side. There's a lot more soft tossers on the left side, but Andrew Nardi's right in the middle. That chase rate, incredible. 92, love it. Whiff rate, 87, love it. K rate, 96. The Yankees don't have hardly any swing and miss in their bullpen. They need a guy like this, especially from the left side. Whew. Walk rate, it could be better. Doesn't get barreled up much. Hard hit percentage is great. Ground ball rate, doesn't have a lot of ground balls, but he's getting a lot of swing and miss. So who cares? I really like Andrew Nardi. He has a four-seamer, a slider, a changeup. I mean, changeup, he only threw like 7 pitches last year for changeups. I really like Andrew Nardi. He's going to cost quite a bit. We saw that this past trade deadline, but Andrew Nardi is a guy who I would absolutely love on the New York Yankees. You'd also have him for many years. I think it's like 3 or 4 seasons. He's going to be a pre-arb guy, so he's going to make only $800,000. That's nothing. That's nothing. Andrew Nardi is like the guy I want. I've wanted Andrew Nardi for a little bit. I just feel like Andrew Nardi is like the perfect lefty reliever if the Marlins will trade him, which, I mean, why wouldn't they? They're not winning anything anytime soon. Get some good value back for him. I like Andrew Nardi a lot. And you might have to give up a top 10 prospect in that package, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Yankees then trade Nestor Cortez for prospects. Why not? Why not? This is the time to do it. Nestor's going to make $8.3 million. And look, we already talked about Frankie Montas making $18 million from the Mets, which is absurd. Nestor Cortez has been one of the most consistent pitchers in baseball over the last few years. He has 1 year left. This is the time to do it. Sell high on Nestor Cortez and get some prospects back for him. I like that idea. You're also, relieving yourself of $8.3 million. And you also need to clear out 2 starting rotation spots. If you're going to bring in a starting pitcher, you need to clear out 2 spots because you already have 6 starters. So Nestor makes a lot of sense to trade. This is the time to sell high on him. And I think you could really get something valuable back because I think a lot of teams would love a Nestor Cortez for $8.3 million. And he's also going to price himself out of the Yankees next year where it's like, granted, the Yankees can obviously afford him, but he's probably going to be making 15 plus million. Like he's going to be making quite a bit of money for Nestor Cortez. And I just don't see the Yankees bringing him back because I think that the Yankees have other big fish that they want to go out and try to get. The next move, the Yankees trade catcher Jose Trevino. They have 5 catchers on their 40-man roster right now. I just feel like the writing's on the wall. They're probably going to trade at least 2 of them. I think Jose Trevino is an easy target to be traded. $3.6 million for a backup catcher where you want Austin Wells to basically play almost every day. There's just no reason for Jose Trevino to be on the roster anymore. And I really like Trevi. He's a great guy. He's been a great player for the Yankees. But Austin Wells is your catcher now and of the future. And I just don't see a world where Jose Trevino gets a lot of reps because he shouldn't get a lot of reps. And then the last move, Yankees trade Trent Grisham. I know that they just signed him to a $5 million deal, but I think a lot of that is to obviously not have to go through arbitration, which maybe makes it a little bit more enticing for teams to want to trade for Trent Grisham. And as a 4th outfielder, I'm sorry, $5 million, that's a lot for me as a 4th outfielder, even if, we're speaking about them not caring about the luxury tax and blowing past it. Like $5 million for a 4th outfielder just feels weird to me. And also when you have an outfield that's going to have Judge, Soto, and Dominguez, and you have Bellinger who could play first base, and center field, there's really no reason for Trent Grisham to be on the roster. 4th outfielder for the Yankees at this point in time is kind of silly. And Trent Grisham didn't really get a lot of chances to play last year, but I think Trent Grisham's a better option than Harrison Bader, and Harrison Bader is going to cost more money. So I think there's a team that will take a chance on Trent Grisham and have them be their everyday center fielder. You're going to get some great defense out of him. The Mets also just traded just acquired Jose Siri from the Rays, who is worse offensively, in my opinion, than Grisham, but just as good defensively, if not better. But I mean, they're both incredible outfielders defensively, and I think there's a team out there who would love a Trent Grisham. So wrapping this all up, if plan is to stay under the tax, we are at $298.4 million. So we still have a little bit of leeway, not a lot of leeway, but a little bit of leeway for the trade deadline, where you can kind of move some other things around, and you can maybe even trade away better prospects for something, for a team to eat a contract. And if not, if they decide to blow past the tax and don't care about it, you're at $310.4 million, which really is in reality like 320 plus million based on all of the 110% on every dollar. It's probably in the 330 million range. But that's my plan. Okay. That's my plan. I'll show you the updated roster here in a second, but what do you guys think about that plan? Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments. Do you like it? What would you change? Would you go a completely different direction? I feel like this is a very realistic approach to the Yankee offseason. There's a lot of moves. They have to be a little bit creative in terms of, especially trading guys away like Nestor Cortez and, acquiring a guy like Andrew Nardi. But this is something that the Yankees should focus on trying to do for 2025 and beyond. And, let's be a little bit smarter with the way that we, facilitate the needs on this roster. But yeah, updated roster. This is position players. This is what I see. This would be my 26-man roster based off of what I just created. So the catcher, Austin Wells, Carlos Narvaez. First base, Cody Bellinger, Ben Rice. Second base, Caleb Durbin. I think Caleb Durbin is going to be the starting second baseman on this team. Aaron Boone, Brian Cashman. I think even Hal Steinbrenner maybe even said something about him. Jack Curry. They've all talked about Caleb Durbin, and it just feels like Caleb Durbin is going to be on the 26-man roster, and I'm okay with him being the everyday second baseman. I'm fine with it. He has a lot of athleticism. Hopefully he's a good player. We'll see. Jazz Chisholm at third. Anthony Volpe at short. Judge in left field. I'm moving him out of center field. He just needs to be in a corner outfield spot. I'm sorry. He needs to be out of center field. Jason Dominguez in center field where he should be. Juan Soto in right field. DH Giancarlo Stanton. The utility, I know you guys aren't going to be happy with it. Oswaldo Cabrera and everyone's favorite DJ LeMahieu. I had to be realistic. I don't see the Yankees, number one, cutting LeMahieu from the roster. They don't eat money like that. They're not Steve Cohen in that way. And number two, who's going to trade for LeMahieu? Let's be honest. I mean, I don't see anybody wanting DJ LeMahieu. So I think the Yankees are going to put him on the roster, hope that he can do something for them, especially, at least defensively. But I just don't see them getting off of DJ LeMahieu at this point. The rotation, Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, or Walker Buehler, based on whatever path you want to go. Luis Heel, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt. That's your starting five. Yes, there's only one left-handed starter, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think lefty relievers are more important than lefty starters. I've always kind of felt that way. But that's a very good rotation. It's not as good as the Dodgers where they have, 4 different aces, but that's a good rotation. I mean, no matter how you want to cut it, that's pretty damn good. And then the bullpen. Luke Weaver, Kyle Finnegan, Ian Hamilton, Jake Cousins, Mark Leiter Jr., who is really good in the postseason, surprisingly. Take your pick of one of these guys that are currently on the 40-man roster that really probably you're going to see all of them at some point next season, but one of them is going to be on the opening day roster. JT Brubaker. Yeah, you probably forgot about him. Yankees, traded for him. Scott Efros, Yuri De Los Santos, and Cody Poteet. The reason why Cody Poteet is highlighted in bold is because this would be my pick. I would pick Cody Poteet. I like Cody Poteet. The guy can give you multiple innings, which is very valuable to have in your bullpen. He's also a guy who I thought pitched extremely well last year when the Yankees needed him, and he could be a spot starter, and that's really, really great. So I like Cody Poteet. If I had to choose between one of these 4 guys, I'm picking Cody Poteet every day 10 out of 10 times. I like Poteet. And then you have left-handed pitchers, Tim Hill and Andrew Nardi. And that's my 2025 Yankees opening day roster. What do you guys think? Let me know. I think it looks pretty good. I think that this feels like a roster I could actually see the Yankees going with. Maybe not Burns. I understand that might be wishful thinking. But I really do feel like this is a roster that feels realistic to what the Yankees could actually do this offseason. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the Juan Soto saga to end, where we can find out where he's going to go. And I'm excited for the Yankees to then make other moves. And, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. Maybe they don't go after Finnegan. Maybe they go after Jordan Romano. Kind of same deal there. He kind of worries me a little bit. I would take a big flyer on Jordan Romano because I think his stuff is amazing. However, the injury history definitely scares me a little bit, but it's a low risk, high reward type situation. I just feel like Kyle Finnegan feels more like a Yankee move in my opinion. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down below about everything we talked about. What do you think about my plan? Do you think it's a good one? What would you change? What would your offseason plan be? You can, put it down below in the comments section. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, where you can get my pretty much instant reactions to everything that the Yankees are doing and all the articles that are coming out, against the Yankees or for the Yankees, whatever it may be. If you also want to subscribe to this channel, please do so. It's weird for me to ask for subscribers, but let's build this community. I want to, I have a lot of plans for this podcast. I want to work on it a little bit better and be a little bit cleaner. So I have a lot of things to do in that regard, but yeah. Again, if any news pops up for the Yankees, I'll be there to make a YouTube short, or maybe I'll even make a little podcast episode talking about any type of signing or move. When Juan Soto signs, regardless of where he goes, we'll talk about it and the impact that it has on the Yankees, whether it be him on the 2025 roster and beyond or not. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this podcast episode and listening to it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.